Hi guys, let's get into this story about a possible trade war coming. So I spoke on this last week and I said that we don't have any worry about a trade war coming. And then a client of mine saw this article and said, Uma, could you talk about what's coming next? Because you were right. Nobody saw that Trump was going to pause tariffs on Canada and Mexico, but he did. They've been paused for a month. So now my clientele want to know what's coming next. So I decided to make a video to not just share with them, but to also share with anybody else who's interested. As I told people before, you cannot get into the fear mongering that so many people want you to be a part of. Everything the new President Trump does, there's unarguably going to be people that are going to see it in a negative light and want to make a bigger story out of it than it really is. Now, I just want to say for the record that I did not vote for Trump. However, he is my president. I'm an American citizen. So I'm going to look at this with as an objective eye as I possibly can and not contribute to the fear mongering. This video is my hope to counteract all the fear mongering that's going on right now. So before we start this conversation, let's talk about the GDP of a country. The GDP of a country is the gross domestic product, and it is the goods and services of a country that it is measured by to determine the value of that said country. So it's like a system of checks and balances. A country produces a certain number of goods and services, and then it sells so many goods and services. So the calculation of the GDP comes from calculating how much is spent on creating, purchasing the goods and services, and then how much is made from the sale of those goods and services. It is one of the most influential economic markers of a country. So the GDP in America is mainly made up of domestic products. In fact, I believe I read somewhere, wish I could quote it right now, but only 15% of America's GDP comes from the use and sale of foreign products. So I had to look it up really quickly for you guys. I did check AI, and AI said in 2022, the United States trade to GDP ratio was 27%, not 15, which means that 27% of the country's GDP was made up of imports and exports. And by the way, that's lower than the global average of 63%. So let's do a quick internet search and ask the question, how much of the US trade is specifically with Canada and Mexico? And this is what popped up for me from Scotiabank website. While trade accounts for 67% of Canada's GDP, 73% of Mexico's GDP, and 37% of China's GDP, it only accounts for 24% of the US GDP. Okay? So basically what it's saying is, in a nutshell, they need us more than we need them because they only contribute to 24% of our GDP. Whereas in cases like Mexico, we're practically 75%. And for Canada, practically 70% of their trade. So the reason why these tariffs are becoming a topic of discussion right now is because the president is wanting to make it more equal for Americans and he wants to put more money back into Americans' pockets. So he's pretty much going to fight for the American economy. I know a lot of people are thinking I'm switching sides, but if you know me, you know I don't take sides. I just try to look at things logically. Okay, so when I made my psychic prediction last week, I said, I don't see a war coming. I see the heads of state all sitting down and talking with each other, and they're going to do what heads of state do. They're going to fight for their country and their people, and they're going to ask for what they want. And of course, everybody's going to want the best for their country, but they're going to meet somewhere in the middle. So Trump agrees to pause tariffs on Canada and Mexico after they pledge to boost border enforcement. That is an ask that Trump had wanted for a long time. We knew that from his first term. He wanted Mexico to help him build this wall to prevent illegal immigration and to slow down or completely stop the drug trafficking, the sex trafficking and whatnot. Same thing with Canada. I think it's more about the fentanyl, going in that direction, but they're wanting to really work together about enforcing drug enforcement and also for the money laundering, which fuels a lot of these cartels and whatnot. So what do I see coming? I don't see a trade war coming. I feel that President Trump with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the president of Mexico, I think they're going to work it out. I think they each love their country in their own way, and they're going to find a way to make amends, because the truth is that Americans have been suffering for a very long time, right? We've been living paycheck to paycheck, and it's time for the American people to have more money back in their pockets so that they can actually afford a better way of living. I kind of saw this coming when Trump took office, and this is where I struggle, because there is psychic Uma who sees the things coming, and then there's human Uma that's like, what are you talking about? This is crazy, But being the professional that I am, I have to honor it. If I see it, if I hear it, if I know it, I have to share it. And even though this wasn't my president of choice, fair is fair. Spirit is speaking, and Spirit is saying that it's going to be okay for the rest of us. Now, I can't speak on the rest of the things he's doing. Maybe if you guys keep writing in and telling me what you want me to use my predictions on, I am happy to. But this is what I came up with, is that we don't have to worry about the trade war. If anything, I feel like if the three heads of state don't come to, an amicable conclusion that can benefit everybody, there might be a period of time where all of us will suffer. And when I say all of us, I mean Americans, Canadians, and Mexicans. I think we'll all suffer for a bit until finally the heads of state realize we're just punishing our people, and that's not fair to them. So let's go ahead and revisit the drawing board again and come up with a better way of moving ahead. These are just my predictions. Please don't hold me accountable for them in terms of, I haven't done any research or anything, just besides what I quoted you guys here. But the reason for this video, the main reason for this video is that when President Trump took office, I have never been given any sort of warning sign from my guides about, life going to be terribly upsetting or things moving in a negative direction. It's just been very calm on the other side. And I share this with you because I know a lot of you are living in fear, and I don't want you to, right? I don't want you to, because if things are going to happen, they're going to happen. And the psychics, the oracles, the mystics, we'll know about it first. And yes, there are some of them that are saying, it's the end of times, but there's also some of them like me that are saying it's not going to be that bad. And we just want you to hold your head up. We'll get through this together. The spirit of love is around all of us, and we will take care of each other no matter what. Okay? So don't let the tariffs and the trade war, the possibility of a trade war, upset you. Don't let the fear mongering get to you. Hold your head high. You're a proud American citizen, and you have a government in place that really wants the best for you. Whether it's Democrat or Republican or independent, they want the best for you. So let's let them work. And then if it doesn't go in the way that you want it to go, at least take comfort in knowing that you have other American citizens that will hold your hand through this. I know I will. I'll be holding hands with everybody, and we're going to make it through. All right? Psychic Predictions by Uma.